I've been competing since, I would say, 87, 86. So it was like 22 years ago. And I was always really into competition, you know. I would say that the highlights on my competition like was, of course, the black belt, you know. Like that's what they bring me good memories. I fought the highest level competition possible. And I fought really, really good guys, you know. Like by the time, I would say that I faced the best in my weight class. On the 90s, that was the time when I got my black belt. It was like a generation that we have like really, really good fighters. We had like Royler Gracie was the #1. We had Léo Vieira, Shaolin, Léo Santos, Parrupinha, Wagner Fabiano, João Roque. I mean, a ton of really, really great guys, you know, fighting. And I was lucky enough to fight most of them. I would say that Royler was the one that I never beat. He beat me 3 times in competition, 1 time by points, and other times by advantage and referee's decision. But he was such a great fighter by the time. He was even absolute champion sometimes. That going back and forth with him and giving him a hard time sometimes were better than even win, you know, because I knew I was on the top level. I knew that was one of the best in the world, you know. And so in the World's Championships, he was the only one that beat me. All the other guys, I beat all the other guys, you know, the guys that I fought. I didn't fight Shaolin, Léo Santos. These guys were really, really good. I didn't have the chance, but I fought, like I said, like one of the toughest guys was Wagner Fabiano. He's an MMA champion today, WC champion. He was champion of IFL. Really, really tough guy. Really, really hard to do. I was lucky enough to win. Parrupinha also was a great one that I fought, you know. It was really good. The Pan Americans was also like I'm 4 times champion of Pan Ams in the black belt. I won in the Masters division without the gi this year. So it was also really good to remember like going for the first time out of Brazil to compete. It was a really great experience. I have really, really good memories, you know, about that, and I'm still doing that. So, I mean, I encourage everyone that can do it because it just bring you really good memories, you know. I think competition is something that you cannot be obligated to do. If you feel any kind of pressure, you're not going to do good. It has to be for the love. You have to feel that you really want to go just as an experience first. You want to go there and check it out. Because it doesn't matter, every competition based on martial arts, that's different than other competition. Because that's you, your opponent, and God. You can have seconds, trainers, coaches, but at the end of the line, you're going to be by yourself right there. So it's a sensation that it's kind of, you have to find your way. You have to survive. You have to go for it and beat the guy, or at least survive there. So it's a kind of a strong feeling. But you know what? When you're losing, after you do that, in a good way, trying your best, it gives you the best sensation in the world. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I don't like competition, I want to compete. That's fine. I understand. I completely understand. I respect that. But I believe that every practitioner of martial arts would just try, because you might change your mind. You can never tell that you don't like to compete if you never compete. In jiu-jitsu, oh, I competed in soccer, I competed in swimming. That's different. You know, fighting, martial arts, this is different. So that's what I say. Do for the love, do for the experience. If you like it, great. If you don't like, that's fine, you know. But I believe you're going to be a better person and a more complete person if you do that. Man, sometimes I get myself on my house and I say, Jesus Christ, I do this 24 hours a day. And when I get home, I go to the internet to look for jiu-jitsu news and to see what's going on in jiu-jitsu in Brazil or more school. So jiu-jitsu is such a part of my life that, I mean, there's nothing that I do every day that is not related to jiu-jitsu. You know, I do jiu-jitsu all the time. I dream with jiu-jitsu. I work with jiu-jitsu. I play with my son with jiu-jitsu all the time. I talk about jiu-jitsu with all my friends, even the friends who never practice jiu-jitsu. And I still love it, you know. Sometimes, of course, you get tired, you don't want to be on the mat, you're you kind of burned out, but the next day the fire is back. So it was never a sacrifice for me, you know. I'm a lawyer. I have a lawyer degree. I could go for another path. I was really good on the college, on the university, but there was a time that I see that I thought, it was my father this day that gave me a lot of support. One time he told me, you know, son, I look at you with your suit, going to work as a lawyer, and I thought to myself, it won't work. It will never work. That's not for him. He told me that. And I knew that inside of me, but I was kind of scared to frustrate people, and instead of going to a really common career that I could do good, to go to something that could be risky, to have my family and stuff. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna follow my heart and I do what I love, and I'll see what happens. It was great to finish the law school, to have my lawyer license, but I'm not regret for even 1 second to not choose the other career. I'm really happy with Jiu-Jitsu. I think the beauty of Jiu-Jitsu is that Jiu-Jitsu never ends, you know. Jiu-Jitsu is infinite. You see that certain techniques that are applied over and over, sometimes even like a less graduated guy does in a certain different way, that is so good and so innovative that you can incorporate to that. So it's something that the amount of people training Jiu-Jitsu every day in this world is huge. So every day I know that Jiu-Jitsu is going to be better and better, because every day is going to be somebody perfecting the techniques even more, and give you new options, and give you new insights. And being a member of such a big group as Gracie Barra, we have access to, I mean, thousands of brilliant heads and great technicians that when you get together, it's always like a laboratory of techniques. So, I mean, it's unbelievable, you know, because it never ends, you know. I'm pretty sure that in 15 years from now, our Jiu-Jitsu is going to be good for the foundations, but there's going to be so many other options and so many new insights that the kids will be better than us. So that's the beauty of the thing. My son's going to be better than me. My grandson's going to be better than my son, and it never ends, you know. So, I mean, I like it. You know, some people want to be the best ever, but, I mean, that's not going to happen, you know. People are going to get better than us. There's nothing you can do, you know. I can't say that this is my favorite guard, but I'm known to be like one of the first guys to do the spider guard. Actually, a lot of guys that do this technique in a really good way today are both training partners, younger training partners, or students of mine, you know. I remember, I won't say that I was the first one because I would be lying, but I would say that the first time I saw and I watched this kind of guard was Renzo Gracie. He was a purple belt by the time, and I remember him doing that in class. It was a way that I remember he used to do, because he was very light, to protect himself, to avoid people to pass his guard. So it was more defensive in the beginning, but it was really hard to pass though. And I thought it would be a good application to myself, so I began to do that a lot, and some attacks and techniques begin to come from there. I noticed that it's a classic defensive position, but you can use also to attack. So I would say the spider guard is one of my trademarks. I was always good on that, but I was always more like open guard fan. I like the close guard. I think it's really important, but I believe the beauty of Jiu-Jitsu is for you to be in the open guard and flowing, and the guy trying to get on the side and you recovering. And this game is pretty much the soul of Jiu-Jitsu, in my opinion.